Hey folks, I am driving through the mountains of West Virginia on my way to go see Matt Ball. They say that West Virginia is the largest state in the Union if you were to flatten it out. I'm sort of inclined to believe it. You don't go anywhere in West Virginia without either going uphill or downhill. Hey man.
Hey, good to see you. You have a good trip?
Yeah.
Good.
Ready to catch some fish.
Oh man, I'm ready.
Where are we headed?
We are going to head to a small river stream off of the Ohio River.
Cool.
And the water looks good. It was tore up last week, and this week it's kind of cleaned up, and I think by the time we get there tomorrow, it ought to be pretty good.
I saw big water that was still brown, and all the little creeks looked nice and green.
The farther we're going to be going upstream quite a ways where it cleans up fast.
Nice.
It's a lot rockier. The closer you get to the Ohio around here, any of the tributaries around here, when you're down close to the main Ohio River, they stay muddy. But the farther you go upstream, you start getting into more rock, more, less silt, and
right.
it moving water that cleans up a lot better. So
cool.
That's what we're going to do tomorrow.
Right on.
So, and,
let's move my boat over to the trailer.
Yep.
And
be ready to go.
Yep. All right, we're here. Here's your little river.
Hey.
How's it look, man?
It is up a little bit, a little muddy, but not worried about it. This river stays that way a lot, so we're gonna give her a shot.
We got a little slick little breakneck slide here down into the river. My kind of access.
When I'm traveling with this, instead of trying to take this entire ball off, what I like to do, I've got quick connects, carabiner type attachments here. And what I'll do is just loosen this one bolt right here. That way you can slide this out. This doesn't need to be readjusted. You can kind of set it where you want it, and then you can hook all your lines up and you're ready to go when you get to the water. Okay, starting out today, we're going to put in here at the take where we're putting in, and we're going to go probably 2 miles or better upriver before we do our float. And that's going to give us a chance to fish more water instead of just putting in and floating down. Right on the bank. Shoot. 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 So what I did right there, I just caught a fish, just measured it, and at the end of the day I'm going to need to sift through these fish. So I take a picture of something, just make a blank picture. That way when you're scrolling through your pictures you can go through, and because I take quite a few pictures of each fish, and you don't want at the end of the day to not know if that's one fish or 3 fish. So I just separate each fish grouping with a blank picture. And this one is 16 1/4. So I have about 4 pictures of her. So we'll let her go.
another little one. We've caught plenty like this today.
Lots of them.
And I'm actually excited with this pool that we're in because I had a big fish follow up at the head of it, which is a good bit behind us. And I'm looking downstream, and what I see is a lot of unbroken water. And on these small rivers, that's where those are the pools that can grow fish that are bigger than that. You've said
historically I've seen big fish in this pool.
You've seen them up to what, 21 and a half?
In this river.
In this river.
Below this.
I think it's a matter of how much hunting range do they have in summer.
Yeah.
Like how far can they run? If they're closed off by a riffle at the top and the bottom, and they can't run that far, there's not that much hunting range.
No.
And it's just that those pools aren't going to grow them. Sure, they may spawn in them, but they're not going to be there in the middle of summer because there's not enough food to sustain them.
So right here's what I caught that one on. This is a Z-Man Finesse Shrooms head jig with a blue skirt and a Z-Man TRD. It'll stand up on the bottom when it's in the water. So that's what I caught it. I'm gonna go ahead and let this one go, and then we'll talk a little bit about finesse fishing. So there he goes for somebody to catch again. So right there is the bait that I've caught quite a few on that today. Basically I'm not hopping it. I'm more of a drag. Casting, dragging, and it's standing up, and caught quite a bit on that. What helps it to stand is that floating TRD plastic, and I've had a lot of success with that.
All right, on the way down, I did a live feed on Facebook and put out, hey, what questions do you have? You know, what do we need to know from Matt Ball in terms of tournament fishing or just in general? But I got him here, and we're going to go through a couple of them. Nathan Green asked, let's say that you know there's a good spot that holds big fish and there's not another good spot around, and you find in a tournament that it's getting hammered already. Do you let it get worked and then move in when people move off, or do you cut your losses and move on to a spot that may not be nearly as productive? What do you think?
That's very common with a lot of the tournaments I fish with, especially Mountain State kayak anglers. We fish a lot of smaller reservoirs, and there are well-known good spots, and they do get hit. And a lot of times the difference between you winning a tournament or placing in a tournament is going to be you getting to that spot first. So that's one thing that I would do in that situation. If I knew there were good fish and that's where I wanted to be, I would do everything in my power to be the first one there that day. You don't want to be the guy that shows up when everybody else has already been hammering it. That's a very easy thing to do, to say, but not a thing to do. You got to get out early.
Here's a question from Matthew Chapman, and I guess you're asking both of us because you addressed me. Jeff, my question is, how do you approach tournament morning if you have had limited success pre-fishing or no pre-fishing at all? That's what I did in the KBF Open. I didn't have the vacation time, and I went down there, and what I started with is I trolled. You know, if you haven't pre-fished, you have to unfortunately fish the tournament as though you were pre-fishing, and that involves straining a lot of water. And for me, that was trolling a crankbait, and that worked for 2 good fish early in that tournament. But I don't know, what are your search baits that you use during pre-fishing?
Really, when I'm pre-fishing, I do a lot of my searching without casting. I'm looking for certain things that I'm comfortable with. If I'm going to a lake that is unfamiliar to me, I'm going to spend the most time trying to find the place that looks like something that I'm used to. I'm not going to, for example, at Kentucky Lake, I'm going to find the smallest water and the skinniest water I can find because I know how to fish that. I'm not going to go out and try to start ledge fishing day one on the tournament because I'm not a ledge fisherman. So I'm going to look for the things that I'm comfortable doing.
Things that look familiar. I'd agree with that. When you see something that, you know, looks like the type of structure or cover that you're good at fishing in your home water, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Nathan asks, composure during a tournament. How do you keep it? How do you stay positive and not frustrated when things aren't going your way? I lose it all the time. I lose my composure. I start fishing faster than I should, and that'll just destroy. If you're on in particular with a finesse bite, if you're fishing fast and you're catching fish, it's usually not a problem. I have trouble downshifting. And finesse fishing, you know, wins a lot of tournaments. So how do you address that?
The way I'll find myself on tournament day, if I start out and I'm trying to get, let's say it's a 3-fish tournament, I'm looking for just to get 3 fish under my belt. That just it eases the pressure off of me. I may not find the 3 biggest fish, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to get 3 fish. And then that takes a lot of the pressure off. Now let's say I don't have those 3 fish. Sometimes the best thing that I've done is just pull over, stop, collect yourself, just kind of take a deep breath, because when you start hurrying, when you start panicking, you just start going completely off of what you know how to do. A lot of times you've probably put the homework in, you've probably pre-fished, you probably know what to expect, and when it's not working, you might just need to tweak it a little bit. And if you completely abandon your plan, a lot of times that's when things, for me, if I'm not a power fisherman for the most part, so if I'm going to go out and I'm not getting the finesse bite and I start throwing big crankbaits or whatever, I know I'm panicking then. So, and then I'm not going to do well. So I guess that's what I'm going to try to stick with what I know and try to what I'm comfortable with, and that's going to give me the confidence and keep me relaxed. You know. With this Torpedo in reverse, what it really enables me to do is to slow my drift down when I'm floating in a stronger current. And today we've got a fair amount of current in a lot of these places, so just by bumping it in reverse and then just feathering it with my feet, I'm able to slow it down a little bit to where I can fish.